Check this out. The Canon G11. It is the big daddy of the Canon point-and-shoot series. In fact, there are a lot of really professional photographers that really love this camera. If you've been thinking about getting into photography, but you don't want to make the leap to getting a DSLR, like a big bulky camera, this camera is actually going to provide you with a lot of the same type of features, a lot of the same type of image quality, all in a much smaller package. And this is actually the successor to the very popular G10. However, there are a few major differences. One of those differences being that this camera actually has less megapixels than the G10 before it. However, it does have a better quality sensor and is actually going to perform much better in low light situations, giving you some much higher quality photos. Also, if you're already familiar with the G10, you're going to notice immediately by looking at this right here that it does have an articulating LCD screen. This is a huge feature on this camera because it makes it very easy to take self-portraits, makes it easy to get those high-angle or low-angle shots, and it really makes the entire process of taking photos a lot more fun. It does have a 5x optical zoom, and it is an absolutely beautiful lens on this thing. It's got that Canon glass, nice wide-angle lens. Photos that you take with this are really going to look spectacular. 5x optical, 4x digital zoom, so you can combine those to get up to 20x. The LCD is 2.8 inches, and it can be folded around to protect the LCD, or it can be flipped around and used as a standard LCD like you would find on any point-and-shoot type camera. However, this camera also has a viewfinder right here, a true viewfinder, so that you don't have to use the LCD at all. So if you're framing up shots in weird lighting situations or anything like that, you can actually use the built-in viewfinder that is right here. One of the other pro-level features you're going to find on this camera is that it does shoot in RAW format. You can shoot, in fact, it'll shoot combination JPEG and RAW. So you snap a photo, and it'll save one as a JPEG, one as a RAW image file, giving you a whole lot more control over the post-editing process once you get these photos put onto your PC. Max ISO on this, 3200. Goes up to 3200 ISO, and you're going to find that even the high ISO settings on this camera are going to provide you a very nice photo with very, very little noise. Also going to shoot 640 by 480, 30 frame per second video, and it shoots absolutely beautiful video on this camera. Now, one of the great things about the Canon G series is that it gives you very quick access to a lot of the manual controls. In fact, take a look at this. All along the top, you're going to find exposure compensation controls, ISO controls, very easy knob to get to your aperture priority or your shutter priority modes or your program modes, all here on this camera, allowing you to make very quick adjustments manually without having to go through a complex menu system, which really makes it a lot more enjoyable when you're out there shooting manually to get to those manual settings. And they're all right there and very quickly available to you. This thing is built like a tank. You're going to pick it up and you're going to find that it feels much more solid than most of the point-and-shoot cameras that you've ever seen before. It has a great metal body on board and is just a very great feeling camera in general. A lot of professional photographers use these as their runabout type cameras because the photo quality is absolutely spectacular from the Canon PowerShot G11. Let me go ahead and show you some of the menu items that are located here in the camera before we give you the full tour around it. Getting to your various settings are actually quite simple. To get to your various scene modes, you simply dial up the scene mode up here on the top, and then you can flip through all the various scene modes that are available to you on this camera. And there are quite a few, and these different scene modes will even give you descriptions exactly what situations to use them. You also have some custom modes that allow you to store various settings as well, and your full manual mode, which is going to allow you to manually set your aperture, your shutter priority, your ISO, your exposure compensation, all can be manually set up right here through the camera. Now, doing that is actually very, very simple because there is this wheel jog control right here, allowing you to very easily scroll through all of the different functions and set your settings right there. Let me go ahead and show you some of the menu items that are available in here as well. You do have an extraordinary amount of control over all of the functions in this camera. In fact, just about every setting and every type of setting that you can imagine is available to you right here in a very easy to navigate, very simple menu system that is built in to the Canon G11. Now, also take a look at this. You do have some other buttons that you may not recognize on this camera. You do have buttons that you can set for your own. You can actually set that button right there to actually do whatever you want it to. You have shortcut buttons, physical shortcut buttons that you can assign any function to. You can very quickly get to your playback mode. You can very quickly change your autofocus modes located right here. That is the major benefit to the Canon G11 series, is that it's very, very easy to get to all of your manual settings and controls. Very easy to change things on the fly with this camera. In fact, when you're in your shooting mode, let me go ahead and show you this. Changing the display is also very easy. Take a look at this. You have a built-in histogram. It's always right there. You have an exposure meter located right there on the screen. But if you don't want all of that stuff on there, it's easy to get rid of it. Take a look. You have your shooting guides. Very easy to scroll through all of this stuff. Very easy to customize what you're looking at on the screen. Another great feature of this camera is that the battery seems to last almost forever. You can shoot all day on a single charge with this camera, and you're never going to run out of battery. Well, you may eventually run out of battery, but the battery does last a really, really long time on the Canon G11. Located on the top right here, this is where your shutter is located. Take a look at this. Your shutter and your zoom control are located right here, right next to your index finger, so it makes it real easy to get to that and set up those adjustments as well. But in general, this camera can be as easy or as complex to use as you want, and that is one of the great benefits of the G11. When you put it in full auto mode, it's going to simply take beautiful pictures no matter how much skill you have. And then you can drill through the menus and drill through the manual settings, and you can have literally as much manual control as you want. This is an excellent camera to learn photography with. It will not overwhelm you like a DSLR can. However, it will give you the options to take beautiful manually set up shots. But if you don't want to do all of that, you throw it into auto mode and just take beautiful pictures by just clicking the shutter button. So this is the brand new big daddy of the entire Canon point and shoot line. It's the PowerShot G11. If you have a perfect gift, if you have a budding photographer in your life, great for anybody who just wants to take beautiful pictures. Also perfect for professional photographers that don't want to lug around a giant DSLR rig with them all the time. This is going to give those professional photographers in your life, or the hobbyist photographers in your life, the amount of control that they want without having to lug around a giant camera. So take a look at this one. This is definitely considered to be one of the best point-and-shoot cameras on the market today. And of course, it's made by Canon. It's the PowerShot G11. To get more info on the Canon G11, just do a search for C930-1664. For Computer TV, I'm Bauer.